Hey there, I'm Mark from Spectrum Pulse, and it seems like things are finally slowing down. Shame it's not that good. And this is Billboard Breakdown. I don't remember. Okay, I think we're finally in the time of year where I can say the Hot 100 is going to slow down considerably, especially as it doesn't appear SZA dropped Lana anywhere just yet, which will mean the Christmas Eve episode of this show might be kinda quiet, so I can spend some time with my family. That hasn't always happened in the past. And again, I sure as hell am not gonna complain about a bit of a breather, especially given all the year-end content coming up on my main channel. But alright, let's start off with our top 10, where as expected, holiday music has really solidified its control, with All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey firmly locking down that number one. The sales, the streams, the expected radio surge, it's not surprising. Along with Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree by Brenda Lee at number 2, Jingle Bell Rock by Bobby Helms spiking up to number 3, Last Christmas by Wham actually slipping a little bit to number 4, and A Holly Jolly Christmas by Burl Ives bouncing up to number 5. Then we got Die With a Smile by Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga at number 6, and I'm not at all surprised that it's held up this well this season. I've been saying it for weeks now. But there is a little bit of irony that if it wasn't for the holidays, this would have gone to number 1 thanks to that residual radio and sales and just enough streams. But Luther by Kendrick Lamar and SZA is putting up one hell of a fight at number 7. The radio push has started in earnest and the streaming has held up remarkably well, which is also kind of the story for TV Off by Kendrick Lamar featuring Lefty Gunplay at number 8, which actually has better radio, but seen that streaming dip a little bit. Then we got a bar song, Tipsy by Shaboozey at number 9. It's absolutely on the downturn in all channels, even as it holds the top spot on the radio. And then we're gonna end things off with Squabble Up by Kendrick Lamar at number 10. I'm gonna say, kind of interesting, it's already been overtaken by TV Off on streaming and the radio despite being the planned single push. Gotta say, that could be intriguing for what gets pushed next. Now that takes us to our losers and dropouts, and there are a couple notable ones in the latter group. Probably the biggest is You Look Like You Love Me by Ella Langley and Riley Green, but we also saw Disease by Lady Gaga just completely fall flat, and Juno by Sabrina Carpenter frankly outperform all expectations for a non-single. Not to be surprising, again, it's the best song on the album. And as expected, nearly all our losers are for Kendrick here. Hey Now with Dodie 6 at 52, Whacked Out Murals at 54, Dodger Blue with Wally the Sensei, Roddy Ricch, and Siet 7X at 57, Peekaboo with AZ Chike at 60, Reincarnated at 68, Heart Part 6 at 72, Man at the Garden at 74, Gloria with SZA at 76, and G&X with Hida J3, Young Threat, and Peso at 96. I'm kinda stunned how many weeks this whole album is stuck around. That's legit impressive. Outside of that, we had a couple songs from Wicked see some drop off, Defying Gravity at 55, Popular at 69, and What Is This Feeling at 76. And that only leaves Saint Chroma by Tyler the Creator featuring Daniel Caesar clinging on to 95. But what about our returns and gains? Well, naturally the story is once again dominated by holiday music. Blue Christmas by Elvis Presley at 42, Santa Baby by Eartha Kitt at 44, Little Saint Nick by the Beach Boys at 45, Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney at 46, Happy Holidays by Andy Williams at 47, Christmas Time Is Here by the Vince Guaraldi Trio at 48, and Jingle Bells by Meghan Trainor at 99. But what surprised me were a few other non-holiday returns creeping back, the best easily being Good News by Shaboozey at 85. I got a gut feeling this could be a hit in the new year with the right push. The sales are there, please don't screw this up. But there's also K by Raul Alejandro and Romeo Santos at 89, and Burnin' Down by Alex Warren at 91. And when we go to our gains, well, the only one came off the debut and is showing some very promising momentum, Messy by Lola Young at 64. If this survives the holidays, it could be a proper hit. We'd all be better for that. I'd love to see it happen. But it takes us to a pretty quiet week of our new arrivals. So we're gonna start off with number 98, Indigo by Sam Barber featuring Avery Anna. Indigo, my colors are darker and cold. I think it's time that I went home. Well, this is somewhat long in coming. I've heard Sam Barber's name a number of times the past couple of years for building some solid country swell just below the radar, especially with this song Straight and Narrow doing ridiculous numbers a couple of years back, playing to a similar rootsy, organic roughness where Zach Bryan was making inroads. Now he's back with the track with Avery. Full disclosure, I'm less familiar with her, and, well, it's hard to avoid how it sounds like really a more polished version of one of Zach Bryan's duets. Acoustic guitar, gentle touches of piano that take the lead before the final hook, and what appears to be a relationship that is seriously on the skids, if not outright over. It's left largely ambiguous what's actually going on here. It seems like the couple's taken a break from each other because, well, they're not at their best for each other, but it's not making either of them better as they see their personal colors really degrade and darken, so they might need to go back home or at least find some faith in the meantime. It's not a bad premise, but I do think there's something in the execution that's not fully clicking for me. Maybe it's how the vocal chemistry isn't quite there, or maybe it's how relentlessly downbeat the entire song is. There's just this weary sadness that's not pulling me back in. I'm not saying it's not effective in what it's trying to do, but yeah, not feeling this as much as I would hope. Just pretty good at best. Number 93, White Christmas by V and Bing Crosby.
Of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know.
I can't be the only one who finds this a bit surreal, right? Even if you know that V's got an affinity for holiday music, Bing Crosby died in the late 70s. Are we seriously pushing this as a duet? Well, turns out this has been a passion project for both the Crosby estate and V himself for some time. Apparently Crosby's one of V's all-time favorite performers. He started work on this song before his enlistment back in 2022, and using old, unused takes with vocal isolation technology, they were able to stitch this together, and look, if you're trying to compare this to the original, not only does it fall way short, it falls straight into the uncanny valley for me. Yes, the arrangement is modern and updated to sound lush while never compromising the tasteful reserve of the original. But I'm sorry, it sounds like V's trying to do a Bing Crosby impression, and his voice does not blend well with the recovered vocal track, which audibly sounds like the voice isolation was not handled as well as it should. There's this weird liquid hollowness on the edges, always the telltale sign of that, and I'm left thinking why I shouldn't just listen to the original instead of a karaoke track with new backing vocals. Look, I appreciate good intentions, and this is about as above board as these sort of posthumous songs go, but no, it's not good. Nobody needs this. Number 90, Toxic Till the End by ROSÉ. So ROSÉ has her new album. From what I can see, the reception's been decent enough. I honestly expected more than just the one song to chart, but this is the third single from the album. It's all in English, and ooh, wow, someone's cribbing a lot of notes from Taylor Swift. From the buzzy synths, the vocal inflections, the acoustic guitar for the final hook as she drops briefly into the lower register, and the theatrical overexposure of a toxic partner who is manipulative and possessive and ultimately wasted her best years. See, the problem here is that we already have Taylor Swift, and even if you don't like the Tortured Poets department or you're just sick of her, the simplified budget version of Taylor's sound is nowhere near as impressive. The writing is clunkier, the synths are more garish and nowhere near as well blended, and the compression around the vocals is just way uglier. ROSÉ's just not as impressive. And as the guy who really did like the Tortured Poets department, yeah, no. Doesn't do it for me. Number 87, ROSONES by Tito Double P. So there's a lot of ugly backstory around this song, much of it tied to the ongoing feud between Peso Pluma and Fuerza Regida. Apparently the frontman of Fuerza Regida was supposed to be on this song. Peso Pluma didn't like it, vetoed it. There's already a song with Fuerza Regida out that has this title. There's also rumors of darker undercurrents that I'm smart enough not to put out openly. But hey, this song got traction, Tito Double P put it out anyway, and I mean, I appreciate that Tito Double P is more willing to add some bassy twang, but the farty horn arrangement and the vocal placement deeper in the mix doesn't exactly have much of the production refinement that we have heard from this scene the past couple of years. And when you get to the content, I can't say I'm impressed either. A lot of colorful hedonism where the most notable thing is Tito Double P's nasal delivery, highlighting how he won't get jealous because he gets so many other girls. Not exactly hearing what's attractive there. Look, I've got a mixed relationship with this sort of regional Mexican subgenre anyway. I've been saying it for a while. This is far from the worst I've heard, but I also don't think I'm gonna go back to it. All I'm saying. And finally, number 66, El Club by Bad Bunny. I have no idea where Bad Bunny's gonna go on that next project, because I really like that one-off single he put out a couple months back, and yet with this song title, I don't have high expectations, and when we get those chirpy, tinny synths that open up the song, that seemed like an apt assumption. Now, thankfully, they fall away for a sharper bass pulse that sets up some good syncopation with the percussion, but even that doesn't last. We get these bunch of off-key guitars to accentuate the dazed crash out of the song, where for as much as Bad Bunny warbles through a lot of over-compressed vocals about the party that he's trying to have, well, his mind just keeps on drifting to his ex, where he's very much not over her, and at the end of the day, he's at least hoping that he's a good memory if she's talking about him. And okay, look, we've all had those moments, and Bad Bunny is normally pretty good at adding this kind of pathos, where I'd almost buy how the production accentuates the ugliness of the song, but it feels like none of these pieces fit together particularly well, where by the end of the track, the vocal mix was just really grating. I do appreciate that it's not a stock reggaeton track, and Bad Bunny seems to be taking more risks, but look, when you have 8 producers working this song, and you can't muster a solid transition, I'll say it, swing and a miss. But yeah, that's our week. Not a good one, to be honest, where I guess Indigo by Sam Barber and Avery is going to get the top spot, when that cover of White Christmas by V and the late Bing Crosby is going to get the worst. Again, I can respect the intention, and the execution probably was not easy, but I'm sorry, as it is, it does not work at all, at least for me. I don't think it's that impressive. I don't even think it's good. Next week, again, holiday lull appears to be in full force, might be very quiet all around, we will have to see. But until then, I'm Mark, you're watching Billboard Breakdown, affiliated with Spectrum Pulse, and I'll see you next time.